if I can share with your audience, is give the same importance to MUN than any other sport.
I think
And the kids will feel it, and that would be a critical advice for whoever wants to, put improve their MUN status in their school.
so. Can you tell us very briefly who you are?
Sure, Nick. My name is Juan Santamaria, aka Matu. I'm the current Co-Curricular Activities and Athletics Director at EIS, which is Escuela Internacional Sampedrana here in San Pedro Sula, second biggest city in Honduras, Central America. I've been here. My tenure has been 36 years now, starting this month of August at EIS.
And in what ways have you been involved with MUN these past 36 years?
Well, let me give you a brief history. We started the program in 2001. Then we canceled it in 2006. We came back in 2012. We haven't stopped, and it has grown. As director, I have seen, I'm in charge of leadership, hiring the coaches, developing the coaches, talking to the different conferences that we go, having relationships across the world with different leaders that run their conferences, or then they change, right, their leadership. We usually go to university conferences and talking to parents, promoting the program. We have so far 120 plus students in the program. It is I call it our premium international student activities program because of the accolades and all the things that they have achieved. It is just I would love my kids to do MUN. Let's put it that way.
And you said 120 kids are in the club, right? As well as, the many
120
accolades.
kids from 6th grade to 12th grade. My son is going to 6th, so he's going to try it. And my daughter is in 8th, and she's going to try it next year. I think it's a great program to be in.
What is the key to that success? Because I think many MUN programs at many schools have difficulty growing in size. And you said it's a premium program there, right? What is sort of the
Yes.
magical formula that EIS has discovered to produce not only like a large club, but also a club where students are consistently winning awards at very competitive conferences?
I think EIS as a school, as a program in co-curricular, we call it co-curricular, not extra, because the foundation is that it is part of the curriculum. It's nothing extra. Leadership, hiring people that are engaged, motivated with the program. They wanna have more leaders. I think a leader is not. I don't see myself as a successful leader winning trophies. I see myself as a successful leader creating more leaders. So having that, also the culture, there has to be a culture of excellence, but not only excellence by winning, just no, has to be showing up, do your duty, study, prepare, compete. You don't control results. You control your attitude and your practices. You can have a great kid who will take you the best delegate, or maybe a school that is going to be better than as a whole like you, and they win best delegation. That's okay. But you have to uphold the standards of your program. So having a structure, having values, having philosophy of the program. It's very important to make it successful. It's not just a club. You have to say, okay, give me the structure of we have a structure. This is what your son and your daughter is going to have when they finish their whatever amount of years they will be in MUN. Having that structure, that curriculum, that leadership will make it a successful program.
So speaking of
Take it very seriously.
Speaking of structure, I think a lot of schools struggle with figuring out kind of in the whole cultural zeitgeist of extra, or you're saying co-curriculars, right? Where does MUN fall into? Because what I've noticed at many schools, the complaint is we only meet, 15 minutes a week, 20 minutes a week. It's hard to get stuff done. So at EIS, how do you ensure that kids can like excel both in sports, but also be part of a robust MUN program?
Right. Well, the first thing is we have divided the co-curricular program in 3 areas: sports, academics, and artistic activities. So MUN goes in academics. We try to do as much as we can different structures in practicing times. For example, sports is 6 times a week, Monday to Saturday, and you have to be 60 to 70% of the time every week in your team to be considered. MUN is twice a week. So if I play soccer, what I do is I go my 2 times to MUN, then I finish at 4. We start practicing at 2:40. We finish it at 4:15. And I go to my practice 1 hour, my sports practice, which is from 2:45 to 5 o'clock. So everybody, as director, have to make sure that the soccer coaches are not gonna take any action against the student who is also going to MUN or any other non-sports activities.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So you're saying that is also something uniquely to your power, right? As an athletic activities coordinator, to be in a position where you're telling the athletics to essentially provide enough flexibility for students.
Exactly. And you work with me. You know that sports in EIS is strong.
Yeah.
We are the school that has won more championships in the National Conference and the Central American Conference. But nevertheless, every single area of the program, I have to make sure that feels as equally important as sports. So there has to be a passion with me and the school that all the members, all the stakeholders are important. And believe me, MUN is important. We participate in 5 conferences. We host a local, sometimes national conference. And we have awards at the end of the year, the Optimus Bulldog Awards. And we give awards to every single club, activity, and sport of the program. For example, best delegate, if they win best delegation, we give them the same pin as we give them to the volleyball ASCA champion. So the critical, if I can share with your audience, is give the same importance to MUN than any other sport. I think the kids will feel it, and that would be a critical advice for whoever wants to, improve their MUN status in their school.
Yeah, you bring up a great point about recognition, right? And I think that's also a common theme I've been seeing throughout, being involved with so many different schools, so many different programs. Like it's the schools that recognize students, right? And it goes a long way. I mean, it's funny you mentioned those awards at the end of the year. The school gave me a plaque in 2014, right? And that would have been 11 years ago, and I still have it, like hanging in my classroom in Saudi Arabia. So it's just like I think people appreciate, right, that recognition. And as you said, a common pitfall is MUN does tend to kind of go I don't know how you describe it, like it's just less noticed, right? Like if the basketball team wins something, it seems like everyone knows. MUN programs around the world, it seems like at a lot of schools, it's just kind of they go, they come back. There's not enough of that. And I was going to ask you about this later, but since we're on the topic, you have gone to, would you say 50 plus conferences, maybe even more than that?
Yeah, for sure.
Which conferences do you recommend? I know it's hard to narrow it down, but if someone, especially these Central American schools, South American schools who usually are going to America, right? Which conferences have been the most impactful for your delegates?
Without any question, right now will be the YMG from Yale. Is the one that we need to make cuts. So we have like 50 kids who want to go,
Hmm.
and advisors, coaches, they have to sit down with their student secretariat. And also we have, um, sorry for going back, we have a student leadership council in the club.
Hmm.
So there's a general secretary of the club, there is a vice president, blah, 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 blah. So that helps also to motivate the students, right? They own it. They own it. They
Yeah.
own it. Okay, so going back, that YIMG, it's one that I would recommend even for your school in Saudi Arabia. You're closer to Europe. You can go there. Uh, Asia Democracy
Hmm.
was very, very impactful. I don't know if you went with me to Asia Democracy in 2014. Probably you did.
I haven't
Um,
actually, I missed that one, but I've heard a lot about it.
you missed that one? Okay. You and I, we went to Philadelphia, remember?
Yes.
That's a very good um, conference. But to go to that conference, my recommendation will be, um, when you go to bigger conferences, your program has to be really strong.
Yeah.
Start going to small conferences so your kids get used to it. Your program gets used to it. Your leadership gets used to it. And then little by little, you start going to more renowned or bigger conferences. Because remember, when you go to a bigger conference, you have a room of 90 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might have even
Right.
been more. I thought there was about 200 in some of
Yeah,
the.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you're right. I think there was a the General Assembly, the UN General Assembly Committee. Oh my God, it was like 200 kids. So some kids feel overwhelmed of being in a place with 200 kids.
Yeah.
But if you go to a small one, like your committees of 10 kids,
Hmm.
15 kids,
Hmm.
then you're going to do better. So Asia Democracy from Harvard was very good in Latin. I would recommend that one in Latin America. Also, you need to know what are you looking for. I know there are two systems in MUN. We won one in China. I don't know if you recall Samantha Burbridge. I don't know if she was here with you. She has been one of my best coaches ever. Like you have been you were a great coach. Um, and I remember Samantha, we went to China and they don't give awards. They have a different system.
Hmm.
Uh, Europe, USA and Latin America, there's always awards.
Hmm.
Europe, it depends, right?
Hmm.
Who's doing it? Um, but I would say those will be the conferences that I would recommend to people uh, that they want to start. And also my recommendation to people who want to start their program or solidify their program is look for smaller conferences.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it's funny. Yeah, I was remembering now the time in Philadelphia, and to kind of add on to what you were saying with those really big ones, what they'll do is the country or person that you're assigned is sometimes, based on the school, right? We would do that as organizers. Like you don't want to give a school that you've never heard of, for example, the United States, when you're talking about nuclear weapons, right? So I remember
Yeah.
when we went back in 2014. I don't know if they still utilize this system, but everyone I think had the same country. I think we had like 14 New Zealands. So it's just sometimes tougher to break into conversation, right? When you're not a P5 or, when you're not Germany, Japan, India.
Yeah. And now with AI, your research papers, your everything will be better and faster. So yeah, I'm excited of the future for MUN.
Yeah, and you kind of read my mind. I was going to talk about AI for a moment there. It's obviously changing education in general, right? A lot of things are going to be done faster, quicker, more efficient. In what ways do you think MUN can provide skill sets for students that AI cannot provide?
Speaking, negotiating. Um, I can see the kids, caucus time and all the moments that you are in committee time. AI cannot provide it. Can provide you the tools
Mm,
to make a better negotiation, a better um, resolution. But at the end of the day, you need the human factor of empathy, of skills, verbal skills. I mean, just see what is happening in some governments around the world. I'm not going to say which governments. You compare certain presidents with other presidents, and just the way of expression,
mm,
being a statesman, it's something. It's a craft now, and I think MUN gives you that craft.
mm,
AI won't help you by now. I don't know in 20 years, or 10, but now it cannot help you. But it will advise you how to speak, how to. It will be a big assistant for everybody. Like
mm,
you don't have to be researching 10 books or 10 websites to know more about Rwanda civil war. You
mm,
go to AI, you go for specifics, and you can know more about it, and you can use that tool to make a better impression and a better argument for whatever you are trying to solve or to propose. So yeah, the human aspect, we still have it.
So, you've been doing co-curriculars for 30 plus years. You've been doing MUN for, I guess, it'd come out to roughly 20 plus years, many
Yeah.
conferences, many countries. Do you have one or two episodes that especially stick out in memory?
Oh, the first time one of my students won best delegate in an international conference. I always remember the feeling. Um, we have never won. I think it was in Asia Democracy,
Mm,
maybe Panama or Dominican Republic. And then when we hear the name Juan Pablo Savillon,
mm,
oh my God, I almost cried. Um, Also, another nice memory is when the kids won best delegation in Europe
mm,
in Budapest. Oh, a small country as Honduras, um, winning a best delegation in a conference about European governments.
mm.
That has to be something. Uh, that was something special. Um, Also, another memory will be seeing the kids working and engaging and making connections with kids from around the world in their committees.
Mm.
that is special, you know. Um, Honduras is a small country. The good thing is we're 2 hours away from the United States, but
Mm.
United States is not the whole world. It's a very important part.
Mm.
But as you know, you have traveled now, and you have your tenure has been in Korea, Saudi Arabia, I think Japan, Honduras. It's a big world out there, and MUN gives that scoop, that glimpse
Mm.
that there is something else, and those ideas that you get from there, some of them can be implemented in our country
Mm.
and help develop it. So that's what I like about MUN. You have there the future leaders
Mm.
of any community they decide to be leaders. And hopefully they will do something to make it better. Some of I can mention Juan Pablo Savillon, Nicolas Cafati, Pablo Rishmawi, just to give you three that comes to my mind.
Mm.
Those kids, they're going to be doing some great things here at home.
Mm.
Cafati, Roberto Cafati, who was the one who brought it back in 2012, who came to me and talk about MUN. He's doing well in Mexico with new entrepreneurs that he's doing in regarding clean energy and all that. So it's those are the things that I will always remember about MUN.
Yeah.
And I always tell those. I'm a storyteller now, and I tell kids, listen, these your you are standing on the shoulders of great bulldogs who were before you and have done many great things about the program. Now, what are you going to do to continue the legacy and to in order to have other kids standing on your shoulders? So that leadership impulse or spirit has to be always present in MUN.
Mm. I like how, yeah, there's that linear path that you can only see once the students have got older, right? And as
Yeah,
you mentioned a few names I recognize too. I mean, so those guys were 2016, 2017, around there, right?
yeah,
2015,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Correct. Yeah,
mid-career now, or in the early phases of their mid-career. And it is
yeah,
really cool when you see like literally skill sets, literally sometimes even topics they worked on in high school, being implemented in their professional life. And I think you brought up another great point of culture, right? And I think maybe that's why the program there is so great, is that there's a recognition by the younger students that the older students are doing certain work, and then recognition by the older students that the grads before them had done great work, and that they're part of this lineage, right? This legacy of MUN, and that connects them, even if they didn't go to high school together.
exactly, exactly. And that's one of the things I want to do in my last decade in 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 this profession is what is the legacy that I'm leaving behind with the different programs, and what is the legacy that the kids
Mm.
are leaving behind every time they leave the school. So the word legacy has become pivotal right now in my tenure, and I'm always thinking about it, like legacy. What's the legacy? I think it has to be always in anybody's um, workbook.
Yeah.
What's your legacy?
Well,
And
I think, yeah, go ahead.
I think Nick, you have done it. You have. I have seen your work through, thank God, through internet and Instagram and Facebook, and I have seen the legacies that you have left in your school in Korea. I see kids from EIS even still talking to you in through Facebook, and it's just fantastic the way you have also developed your legacy in the different places you have been, and now you are in Saudi Arabia. So
Well,
excited that you're
thank you,
there and you're
Matthew.
gonna do something there.
You actually said pretty much what I was going to say is, I mean, I think you've already built the legacy, and now you can kind of enjoy the legacy as you enter those latter years of your career, kind of like a Sir Alex Ferguson style. Uh,
No, I would say better Bill Shankly.
fair enough.
I'm feeling like
Yeah.
Jurgen Klopp right now, seeing a slot doing so much better.
Yeah.
You can see what team I support, as you know.
Yes, definitely. I will always remember the Liverpool supporter. But yeah, and you bring up a great point, as you said, with Klopp leaving a good. I think that's what a really good program is, right? Is when the advisors or the ADs can leave and it still runs right smoothly. That's when you know, like it's something beyond just the adults, right? It's the students who
The-
are.
the- if you allow me 1 minute about this, actually, yes, Ferguson, and in all seriousness,
Hmm.
Alex Ferguson, I think he did fantastic. I read the book that he wrote, and it's a great book. Now there is one mistake
Hmm.
I don't want to have as Alex Ferguson. I want to have all his accolades, all his triumphs, but and I think we have done it at EIS. But there is something he didn't do, which is, and many leaders do that. What is going to happen when you are not there?
Hmm.
And United has been really having struggling times. Um, uh, Granted, there is a different ownership. You don't know what is going to happen with United. Um, but I would like to be like, and I told you, Bill Shankly, when he left Liverpool, who came back? Who came to replace him? Bob Paisley, who was his assistant. And Liverpool had the best time of every single, the most successful time for Liverpool was that one with Bob Paisley. And then Joe Fagan. And then you start seeing the names, and everything was excellent. Um, and now with Klopp and the slot, there is a similarity, right? Between, let's see what happens with slot this year, but
Hmm.
it's very interesting. So having creating the foundations that at least the following 5, 2, 3 years of your leaving the program, it will be, more or less the same or better. That's what has to be my goal right now.
Yeah.
Um, so it's going to be intriguing. I'm reading books about it, like trying to see the downfalls or the good things that leaders do when they leave a place, the good place, in a
Hmm.
good in a good position. So let's see. Let's see. It's going to be interesting. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining me today. And that concludes this episode of MUN Deep Dives.
Muchas gracias, Nick.